If there is one thing that I find so chic right now, it's doing things that don't scale. Everyone's trying to turn everything into content, systems. How do I make this work for me? But not everything has to be efficient. Not everything has to give you something back. There's confidence in doing something simply because it feels right, not because it performs. And that, to me, is taste. We live in a world that wants to leverage everything. Especially when I moved to LA, I've noticed every text becomes networking. Every act of kindness becomes some sort of branding. And sometimes every friendship becomes content. And it's kind of exhausting. It's noisy. And honestly, I think it's starting to look cheap. We've seen this progression over time where the more that social media has risen, the more people are creating content, the less time people are spending on actually consuming content. And I feel that too. Social media fatigue is real. And I think that this applies to generally where we're at today. So we're shifting from this need to be entertained and validated on social media to now we want to experience something different. We want to be moved. We want depth in our life. We've been scaling everything, our content, our careers, even our relationships. But the more we scale, the less we feel. How rare is it for someone to do something for us that goes completely out of their way with no agenda? When was the last time someone wrote you a handwritten note for no reason? That used to be normal, but now it's luxury. And that's the shift that I think we're about to enter, where personal is the new premium. And you see it in the little things. People want slower mornings, dinner parties instead of networking events, creators taking breaks or being chronically offline and still thriving. There's a quiet confidence in saying, I don't need to scale this. I just need to feel this. The world's loud right now, so subtlety feels refreshing again. And if you're someone who's been craving slower, more in-person experiences, you're not alone. I feel the same way too. And you're not behind, you're early. And here's where I think that scaling lost its magic. When I first started my business, that was the ultimate goal. It was always about, how am I gonna scale this? How am I gonna make more money and do this and do that? But I've realized that the more that I tried to scale something, the less it had depth to it. Because when everything is built to grow fast, it stops growing deep. When everything is public, it stops feeling personal. I think a good example is Soho House. It used to be such an exclusive place to be, but now they let everyone enter, and you're starting to notice a little bit of a downfall. And we all started noticing that the things that matter most can't be automated anyway. You can't outsource presence, you can't template taste, you can't scale care. I don't think the next status symbol will be money. It'll be time. Time to notice things, time to listen, time to remember. Anyone today can buy reach. If you really wanted it, you can have it. But giving someone real, uninterrupted attention, that's rare now. When you send a voicemail instead of a like, or remember someone's story weeks later, that's the new version of luxury branding. It's saying, I have time to care, and that's magnetic. And you know what I think is about to trend again? Taste. Taste is when you choose what doesn't need to scale. When you say no to bigger because it would make it lose its soul. Anyone can chase growth, but it takes discernment to protect something small and sacred. That's what's about to become aspirational, building lives that don't look scalable, but feel beautiful. So let me ask you, when was the last time you did something that didn't scale? Maybe it was writing a note, maybe it was delivering flowers anonymously. Those are the moments that are about to matter again. And I think we're about to see this everywhere. Brands getting smaller but more intimate. Influencers posting less but connecting deeper. People choosing presence, like showing up to an event or an experience, instead of productivity, like networking. We've tried more. Now we want meaning, and meaning doesn't scale. It expands person by person, moment by moment, and I think that's what the next chapter of culture will look like. Less reach, more resonance. So here's what I'm inviting you to do. For 1 week, try doing something that doesn't scale. Write a long letter, cook a meal for someone, do something out of the box that will take your time. Instead of just sending a message saying happy birthday, do something super special for that person. Go out of your way. Then I want you to notice how it shifts your energy. Notice how it makes you feel grounded again. Because being bold isn't just about chasing more. Sometimes it's about doing something so small with so much heart that moves the world in a quieter way. So yeah, in a world obsessed with reach right now, be the one who still values touch. Because I think that's where we're headed. A world that celebrates more slower, deeper, and intentional lives. The next big thing isn't a product or a platform. It's people remembering how to feel. Do things that don't scale isn't just a mindset. It's a movement that's about to start, and you'll be glad you were early, because in my opinion, it's the most fulfilling one. This is day 35 out of 100 bold. I hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. and remember, to act bold, you need to be kid brave again.